Hey guys, welcome back. It's me, Sal Mahajan. So in today's video, we're going to have a discussion related to public IP addresses, private IP addresses, and elastic IP. So let's dive right into the video. So first, let us discuss about public IP. A public IP is basically an IP address that is assigned to the instance for internet access. This IP address allows you to access the internet. It is automatically assigned, or it can also be manually assigned while your instance is being created. Normally, we always see that it is automatically assigned, and it's a very rare scenario wherein we would manually assign a public IP to our specified instance. Another really important thing about the public IP when it comes to EC2 instance is that whenever your instance is stopped and started, your IP address will change. Now make sure you keep a note that it only changes when you stop your instance and then start your instance. If you restart your instance, then you will have the exact same public IP address. This change only takes place when you completely stop it and then start your instances. And normally instances that need to communicate with the internet will have a public IP address. Now moving on to private IP address. A private IP address is assigned to every single instance that is created in EC2. It is used for communication, for internal communication within a specific VPC. Now what is a VPC? A VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. Again, your instance will only be accessible within the VPC. For example, if you have two virtual machines deployed in the same VPC, then they can communicate with each other using a private IP address. Again, this private IP address is normally assigned automatically and can also be assigned manually, but as I mentioned previously, we normally stick to the automatic assignment of the private IP addresses. And your private IP always remains the same unless you explicitly change the private IP, which means that if you restart your instance or if you stop your instance and then start your instance, your private IP will remain the same. And normally for private IP addresses, as mentioned before, it is used for internal communications within the VPC. So if you have two virtual machines or two EC2 instances deployed within the same VPC, they can communicate with each other using the specified private IP address. Now moving on, we're going to look into Elastic IP. Now what is Elastic IP? Elastic IP is basically a service or a feature provided by AWS wherein you can get a static public IP address reserved for your EC2 instance. And then you can basically associate that static IP address or elastic IP with your instance. This allows your instance to be accessible from the internet. It is manually allocated. Now remember, in the previous two, that is public and private, we had both automatic allocation and also manual allocation. But when it comes to elastic IP, it can only be manually allocated. Now, it remains associated with your AWS account until you manually release that elastic IP. Now, what do we mean by this is that if you reserve a static IP address, but you are not using that specified elastic IP address, it will still sit within your AWS account and you will be charged for it until you manually don't go into the AWS console and release that specific IP address. And this is normally used for instances that need a static public IP addresses. So that's where we use elastic IP. So in this video, we did discuss about what are public IP addresses, what are private IP addresses, and what are elastic IP addresses. Now in the next video, we will dive into a demo on the AWS console where I will show you all three of these in action. So I hope you guys did like this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, do subscribe, and do comment if there are any other topics that you guys would like me to cover. I hope you guys have a great day ahead. See ya. Take care. Bye-bye.